The Stone Ape Hypothesis.
But the hypothesis of the stone ape, which I think you've alluded to before, is that with climate change and as the savannas increase and our primate ancestors came out of the forest canopies, they're tracking across the savanna. And if you're a hunter, what do you look? You look for footsteps and you look for scat. And the most significant fleshy mushroom going out of poop in Africa, hippopotamus, elephant, deer, antelope, etc., is Psilocybe cubensis. It's a very large mushroom. You're hungry, you're with your clan, you consume it, and then 20 minutes later you are catapulted in this extraordinary experience. Psilocybin substitutes as serotonin, becomes a better neurotransmitter, activates neurogenesis. It causes new neurons to form, new pathways of knowledge. So that's the Stone Ape hypothesis, and it speaks to a mystery that the human brain, basically the brain cavity doubled in size in about 2 million years. Some people say it's less than 200,000. Homo sapiens
less than 200,000 years?
Yeah. Homo sapiens arrived at 200,000 to 300,000 years ago.
That's a big gap, right?
It's a big gap. Well, the science is like that. So you want to be scientifically accurate here, I need to show the extreme margins of what's been estimated. So if we accept 2 million years that and it's been shown in the fossil record, this is true, the oldest Homo sapien fossils are 300,000 years old now. But we have a suddenly doubling of the human brain. And with that, our language centers increased, our ability to prognosticate, to plan. And there's no explanation for this currently. And even though we may not be able to prove it, I ask people to suspend their disbelief for a second. Now think of this. Our primate ancestors are going across the savanna. They ingest these mushrooms as a clan. Massive input for anyone who's eaten these mushrooms. Huge amounts of data is coming in. Fractal patterns, geometrical, landscapes occur. You have empathy. You have greater courage. You're fighting a saber-toothed tiger. One day you have a fear of it. We know now from neurogenesis and the extinction of the fear response that has been clinically proven, psilocybin allows you to reset and have different neurological pathways to respond to fear, overcoming the fear of conditioned response, potentially PTSD, and there's a lot of research on this currently. But this wouldn't happen one time with one hominid group. It wouldn't happen 2 times, 10 times. It happened millions and millions and millions and millions of times over millions and millions of years. This leads to what I think is called, this should be called epigenetic neurogenesis. We know that there's a regeneration of neurons. We know that psilocybin substitutes the serotonin. It opens the floodgates of the senses. You have a lot more data coming in. And we know that you have the extinction of the fear response. So if you're the leader of your clan, you've had this traumatic event, either war or cataclysm from earthquakes, whatever the case may be, or encounter a saber-toothed tiger, whatever. If you're the leader of that clan and you can overcome your fear response, you have courage and you have empathy. Those are leadership skills. I think people should take note of it. People like to follow leaders who are courageous and yet kind, who they can trust. They'll have their best interests in mind. So I think this propelled, I think it's a very good explanation. It's an unprovable hypothesis. But now we're at a junction and we're ready for the next quantum leap in human consciousness. I think psilocybin should be looked upon as a nootropic vitamin. And there's a huge amount of interest in this. Johns Hopkins University, as you probably well know, New York University, UCLA, elsewhere in Europe, there's major clinical studies that have been conducted in the past 2 years showing exactly what I'm saying about overcoming fear response, neurogenesis, overcoming PTSD. This is now medically quite seriously considered and something that I think that we should explore under controlled settings. I'm not into partying with psilocybin mushrooms.
Damn. You're going so good.
I can understand the
Ari
urge.
Shafir's going to be here in an hour and a half, and he's the creator of Shroom Fest. He's going to be very upset with your idea that you shouldn't party with it.
Well, I think there's greater benefit to yourself,
I agree with
yourself and humanity. I think these are serious tools.
Steve Nash's obsession with numbers.
That's a dangerous thing. because then you're putting so much thought into like a number. People get obsessed with numbers. They get real weird when it comes to numbers. If you give people a number, like you're 5 stars, Joey, you're like, oh, I'm 5 stars. Yeah, but Mike's 7 stars. Like, oh, we get obsessed. I want to be 7 stars. What do I have to do? What do I have to do to get the same rating that Mike got? And we would want that. You meet somebody, after like a year or two, we would get used to it. You'd meet somebody, you know, like, I can't hang out with this guy. He's a 4. You know, I mean, it's just like, he brings my credit down when I'm around him.
You're bringing a 3 to my house.
Exactly.
What the fuck is wrong?
That's what this episode
No 7s allowed. Fucking bringing a 2 to my house.
I'm telling you, that could be worrisome.
The Magic Johnson conspiracy theory.
Because in my mind, if you like somebody, right, you see them, you're going to go up to them and speak to them. I just try to gauge things on how I would do it, right? For example, I was on the plane with Steve Nash this morning.
Okay.
I saw Steve Nash. I'm like, Wax is like, oh shit, Wax, my boy. He's like, oh shit, that's Steve Nash. And I'm like, oh shit, that's Steve. I didn't speak to Steve.
Did you say hello?
No.
Nothing.
No.
Okay.
I didn't feel it. Even though I respect him.
Right.
Know he's a great player. But if it was John Stockton,
That's a little
I'd
different.
be like,
That's
John,
a little
hey!
different.
You know what
That's
I'm
a little
saying?
different.
Steve, I didn't feel
There's
that
some
was
people you
Steve.
have to say hi to.
Say what?
There's some people you have to say hi to.
Rachel Dolezal.
Get the fuck out of here.
I said hi.
Did you?
I
You
met
saw
her. Seattle. Absolutely.
Where was she?
I saw her with, I think she had at least one kid, maybe another one. She was just at the airport. We're online.
She's
Regular.
bisexual
No
now,
TSA
too.
pre-check.
She's
What?
bisexual.
She's bisexual now, too.
She's bisexual, biracial. She's not biracial.
Transracial.
She is black. She's not both.
Transracial.
I know, but what I'm saying is she's bi, so she's straight and gay with the thing.
Yeah.
But I said hello, said what's up. Amazing forehead. One of the best foreheads you'll ever see in a game.
I would have
Unreal.
ignored her.
What?
I would have ignored her. Rachel Dolezal? Yeah.
You wouldn't have got the selfie?
No. I
I saw Jussie Smollett. I took a picture of him
Oh my goodness.
in Lafayette Bakery.
What do you think is going to happen with him?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Absolutely
Ride that out?
nothing.
It's amazing.
There's
Nothing
no such-
legally. It's amazing legally.
Oh, I think
that
Chicago's
nothing's
coming
happening.
after him, no?
You think so?
Nah.
Yeah. Didn't they say that
They're
they were
trying
going
to get him for the money.
for the money that they spent?
But that's not that much.
There's no such thing as cancel culture no more. Cancel culture is absolute bullshit, bro.
Ooh.
Really?
O.J. Simpson proves that.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? Like, when Bill Cosby comes home, he'll be on the road doing motherfucking stand-up. R. Kelly's still out here selling shows. Like, Charlie Sheen is still out here flourishing. Like, there's
Charlie
no
Sheen ducked it all.
Dude, what?
Ducked
Wait a
it
minute.
all.
Wait a minute. Not all. He did get that AIDS.
He's got AIDS, but he
got that AIDS. He got the good AIDS?
Today with medication.
Exactly.
He
What is
Mayweathered
AIDS?
it?
Doesn't
Yeah.
even.
What
You're
is
worse off getting the
HIV?
flu.
Come on, man. Man, what is HIV?
Yeah, what is it?
Some say the greatest endorsement deal Magic Johnson ever signed. I'm saying, we're not going to act like his career didn't flourish.
Bro,
And he looks great.
Take this AIDS, you go get some movie theaters out of
I
it.
was in my car the day they announced on the radio that Magic Johnson had HIV, and I was shitting my pants. I was like, oh my God, this is like the beginning of a zombie movie. We're all going to get it. If Magic Johnson, with all his money and all his fame, if he's got it, I'm
Yeah.
going to get it, and we're all going to get it. I was terrified.
Did
I
you stop
remember,
rolling?
I remember in my car driving,
Yeah.
and then I hear it on the radio. I'm like, holy shit. This is insane. 30 years later, he looks great.
He looks amazing.
He looks great.
He's on
Amazing.
TV telling us why he left the motherfucking Lakers.
He's like,
and
"Fuck the Lakers."
Not once did somebody say, yo, you know Magic got HIV?
Oh, I said
Yo,
it.
This how you... Shut up. No, you did.
That's all I was thinking about. Every time I
Knock
see
it
him.
off. I
Because
don't
he looks
believe you.
incredible. He does look incredible.
He does look incredible.
Yeah.
He does look incredible.
He's not even positive in tests anymore.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I heard that.
Yeah. If you give him a test for HIV, it comes up negative. Because apparently these protease inhibitors and all these different things that they take to the different medications, you don't even test positive for HIV anymore.
By the way, then listen, it was this older white dude, and I forgot what TV show I was on the set of, but he was explaining to me the whole situation with Magic, and he was like, the reason that they chose Magic was because they wanted to erase a lot of these stigmas. People thought that HIV and AIDS was a gay disease, and they needed like a alpha male, I guess, to have it, to kind of erase that stigma and to let people know that you can live with it. Like HIV, AIDS.
Like they gave it to him?
Well, this is what he told us. This is not. By the way, this is not a Charlemagne the God theory. All right, I'm telling you what somebody told me. What they said to me was Magic had got caught up in some type of scandal, And,
I heard this. Underage, right?
Yeah, and before the scandal came out, because the person that he was with was like some bigwig's child or something like that. And so they said, this is what you're going to do so we don't ruin you. I'm not saying it's true.
Joe, before you take this in, he believes in Sasquatch.
No,
so
I'm not saying I believe this.
He doesn't. He believes Sasquatch was real.
That just started right now on this podcast. If I asked him yesterday, he'd be like 100% there. Sasquatch is real.
I would say this. I'm not saying I believe that magic theory. I'm just repeating what I was told.
That is a common rumor that's out there. I've heard that rumor as well. That he doesn't actually have it, but that it was either that or...
But we just got done saying how you read rumors about you that are ridiculous, and you go, what the fuck? And then you realize, oh, this is what happens.
Yes.
People just make shit up, and then people repeat the shit that people make up.
Because we can't fathom that he beat AIDS, bro. AIDS was bodying people back in the day.
Like Freddie Mercury.
Freddie, gone.
Yeah.
Who else?
Eazy-E.
Eazy-E, my downstairs neighbor.
Yeah.
Was your downstairs neighbor?
No, I had a downstairs neighbor who had AIDS.
You gotta put a comma on this shit, man.
I'm just saying. Listen, I don't know.
Throw that in the sentence.
That's not enough of a pause there.
Bro, I learned about AIDS real young. My downstairs neighbor.
Like I thought Andrew was in his 30s. I'm like, he was your downstairs neighbor. I was like, what the?
So look at Charlie Sheen.
Look at him, yo.
Book Charlie Sheen for $350. Book him where?
Cameo.
Oh, on Cameo.
On, what the fuck
Why
is
does he
Cameo?
have sunglasses on? Like, what is happening here? What is he doing?
Yeah,
This strange
Shout
fellow.
out to somebody, just showing you what he's up to.
He aged very quickly. It's like, see, he seemed to be fine when he was doing 2.5 Men. When he stopped doing that show, he aged like 100 years.
Joe, he has HIV. We don't know how it's affecting
That's true
him.
too. I forgot he has
Exactly.
HIV. I forgot.
Everybody
he has it.
Everybody's not Magic Johnson here, okay?
I forgot he has it.
I'm saying Magic. That's why that. By the way, that is why I say Magic is like the greatest NBA player of all time.
Why?
Because of that, he played 13 seasons in the NBA, went to 9 NBA finals, won 5 of them, won in college, came in, won his rookie year, and went one-on-one with HIV and fucking won.
Destroyed.
He destroyed the stigma of HIV.
He definitely did.
Anybody that catches HIV right now, the first thing you're going to say to yourself is,
Give me Magic stock.
I can live through anything if Magic made it.
Real talk.
You know what I'm
Magic's
saying?
fine. 30
That's
years
it.
later, he's okay.
What
It's not
the-
a death sentence
That's
anymore.
it.
The white helmets.
I feel like we're at this cusp of something very strange happening. Like we're in the middle of it right now, but we're at the cusp of something very strange. Where all it would take is one massive world event. One to completely remap how we view each other and how we view things. It's very disconcerting to me.
I mean, it feels like without that one big world event, we're not that far away from that right now.
Right.
There are parallel universes right now that exist on things that you would have thought everyone can accept as a basic fact.
Like what?
You know, I mean, Syria.
Yeah.
You know, the white helmets. There are some fairly serious people saying the white helmets are, you know, some kind of media front for Al Qaeda. And those
Would you explain the white helmets for people?
So when there's a bombing and a building collapses, they go in and drag people out and get them medical attention as quick as possible.
And people think that they're somehow or another involved in it. They're a front.
Yeah, and the footage is faked in order to drum up sympathy for the rebel-held areas. I mean, I've heard, you know, serious people say that.
Serious people?
Yeah, not loons on Facebook. I've heard, you know,
Like journalists? Or?
Yeah. I mean, Seymour Hersh, I think, has walked it back a little bit since, but he said that in the early days.
Why do you think he believed it?
I read a really interesting article about him just a few days ago. Where was it? I forget what it was. You know, the not expose, but a really good look at him. And I think he's just spent his career believing rightly that the government lies about all kinds of things, and that's got him into a point where he thinks, well, they always lie, no matter what. It's happened to a lot of journalists. Robert Fisk, Seymour Hersh, Martha Gellhorn, one of my favourite war correspondents of all time. I reread some of her stuff recently, and the first batch of war reporting she did, I think, is the best war reporting I've ever read. Spanish Civil War, Vietnam, and then she spent 25 years writing novels, and then later on wrote about, I believe it was the Yom Kippur War, and was denying that massacres had happened and saying, you know, oh, Arabs lie, they always lie, there was no massacre. And we now know there was a massacre, or there were massacres in the aftermath of these wars. So I don't know what happens. I mean, maybe if you just do this for too long, you just become so cynical that you're open to these things. But I'm amazed that Seymour Hersh is open to that idea.
When the very people that are calling it, the very people that have boots on the ground and that are in these war zones and calling these things, when they become cynical, when they become jaded, that's when it gets really, really sketchy. And we rely so heavily on people like you. Like I'm not going over there. You know, Jamie's not going over there. Look at him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and you wouldn't be able to really get, like, I know people that have gone to Venezuela and they come back and they go, I don't know what the fuck is going on over there. I don't know who to believe. I don't understand it. Venezuela is a very strange one. And I get messages all the time, and you know, I've had Abby Martin who goes over there and she has one take on it, and I have other people that I talk to that have a different take on it, and I do not know. I don't know who to believe, and I think you'd have to go over there and you'd have to spend a lot of time to try to figure this out, and it would have to be the entire focus of your life to really try to parse it out.
I think that's true of a lot of conflicts. I mean, you know, one of the drawbacks of doing what I do is I'm covering 7 or 8 things at once. So I feel like I'm not expert enough in even Afghanistan, where I've covered that more than any other. But Venezuela is an interesting one because there's such a left-right divide on that, and if you support the opposition, then you find yourself alongside John Bolton and Donald Trump, which means that a lot of people are going to automatically attack you.
Right. Right. Automatically. Yeah. Even if it's correct.
And I think it's, you know, we can say without a doubt that Maduro has destroyed the economy there. Maduro has imprisoned, beaten, killed journalists. There is a movement there that do want genuine elections. But some people will say, well, just because George Bush in another area or John Bolton in this era support the opposition, therefore the opposition must be illegitimate and the information coming out must be false. And I wish people did rely on people who actually went there, but it doesn't feel like that. It feels like they rely on the guy behind the glass desk on the news with the loud opinion, rather than the people who are actually there.
Well, we still have this idea in our head that the person who's reading the news is the authority. You know, that Don Lemon has the inside scoop, or whoever it is, you know.
And I think it used to be that those guys would spend 20 or 30 years traveling, and then they'd get the cushy job behind the glass desk in the studio. Now it seems like you can go straight to the cushy job behind the glass desk. You know?
Well, we just need someone who's relatable, who can read a teleprompter, you know, who fits the profile that they're looking for, whether it's Fox News or CNN, you know.
And also the information is there. You know, there are fantastic documentaries, articles being written about all of these conflicts.
Right.
People aren't reading them.
Well, with something like Venezuela, the real problem is you have 2 sides. You have 2 different versions of what's happening. And it's if you're not educated in that country and you don't understand their politics, it's very difficult to figure out who's telling the truth.
Yeah. Same with Syria.
Thanks for watching. To watch more, subscribe. Don't forget to like and comment.